Hello, welcome and welcome back. It's Judy from Thistledew Creations, and I'm the featured artist of the day today on the paper whimsy. And I posted earlier today my whack and stack video from a while ago, and I promised that I would have a variation on it. And the variation that has been brewing in my mind for a while is to have gold accents in the cracks. I can't remember what it's called, and I probably should have looked it up before I started yakking at you, but there is this Japanese, I believe, thing where when pottery breaks, they don't throw it away, they fix it and fill the cracks with gold to keep it beautiful and make it functional again. And so I've been playing with that idea in my mind, and the whack and stack came to the forefront of my brain as something that we could do, that sort of a concept. So I did these 3 cards just a few minutes ago, and it turned out good, so I thought I'm going to go ahead and show you the video. This one's the most complete. I've done the edges with gold glitter in the 3-in-1 glue. So I'm hoping that there won't be any fall, but you could always do something different, like a gold marker or gold paint or something for the edges. But I want to show you how I did the gold in these cracks and how I did these tags. Very similar to the other video this morning, but I've just got a different pair of scissors, and then of course we've got our gold, which is candy wrappers. This is a Terry's chocolate orange wrapper from last Christmas. The other ones that I did, I used this, and I'm not sure. I think it was just a candy bar wrapper. I don't know what brand or anything. So anything that's gold foil will work. So I've already cut my 3 pieces of paper, and I tend to keep these at 3. When I saw Gail Augustinelli do it, I think she used more like 4 or 5 pieces, and she cut her papers into more pieces. But I find it easier to keep track and not mess up with the 3 pieces. So that's what I've decided to do. So they're all 4 by just under 8 inches. I went 7 7/8 so that I can spread them out a bit on the page and get those gaps showing. So for me, I'm using 2 pieces of the Dollarama cardstock, and I'll be left with a piece out of the middle. Well, you'll see what when we get to that part. But so these are just I think they're A4, a little bit narrower and a little bit taller than letter size. So you can adjust this for any size, but I just want to let you know what I'm doing. So I got the 3 pieces. I cut them all at the same time, so I know they're exactly the same size. And I'm using a different pair of ripple scissors. They're Pop Arts, and they were 50 cents at a thrift store. And all I do for mine is I cut in one direction and then in the other direction, and I'm going to do that right now. Cut them all 3 at the same time and holding them so that they're not separating, and then the other direction. So I'm giving myself quite a pie-shaped piece in the middle. And so you have 3, one of each color for each section of the, sorry, I should have shown you that all together again. It goes that way, and that goes that way. So then I'm going to grab my 1 piece, and I'll take the top one. And for this, because I want to do it kind of quick today, I'm going to use my 3-in-1 glue and just go close to the edge. I'll go as close as I dare to the zigzaggy edge. Across the top, and then just through the center. I don't usually use this much 3-in-1 for anything. I usually do Elmer's glue all over. Oops, I'm not ready for that. Shoot. I gotta start here. That might be, I might have to re-glue that. So what I did first, actually, put those aside. What I did first was I laid out my pattern. So I got one of each. And I just took a pencil, it was just here, and I just sort of drew a line right where I want my gold to be, in between the two pieces of paper. Like that. Then I took and cut my strips. Actually, I ripped them before, but I don't want to waste any, so I'm going to just cut them this time. You're not going to see the edges of these, so they don't need to be fancy torn edges. So what I did then is I put a line of the 3-in-1 glue down right on my pencil mark, and then I just kind of spread it out like this with the tip of the glue bottle. And then I'll lay my gold into that. And I'm kind of straddling the line so that I know for sure I'm covering where I need to cover. And I can see my line ends there, so I'm gonna cut it off there. And then do the other line. A fairly good thick line, and then spread it out. And then just lay that. It's like mylar, I think, would be the proper word for that kind of material. All right, then I can do this. Might need to add some more. It dries pretty quick. That's why I was kind of panicking. If it was white glue, I wouldn't have worried about it. Then you put your top one on, and I'm just lining it up with the top edge and the side as close as possible so I don't have to do much trimming. And then the centerpiece here can be this. Let's see. Yep. There's only one of each color of each section, so you can't really go wrong even if you get yourself a little bit confused. Whereas if you have 5 pieces, I find it a lot easier to get confused of what goes where. So until you're kind of an old pro at it, just start out with the 3 pieces. And again, this, if you line it up with the edge and make sure it's on both of the pieces of gold, it's going to be good. And I found that doing it, lining it up with the edge, because they were all the exact same width, they're lining up pretty well here. If you did want to, you could put a straight edge there, but just check it. And then I'll need this one for the bottom, and that's not the right one. So this one goes with get myself all confused. There we go. And goes with those. So I realized that even the video I showed you earlier wasn't really a complete project. After you do the stack and whack, you're going to decorate the front, but I don't think I have time to do that today either. But I did want to do this for you on the same day. And I wasn't sure about this green one, but I really am liking it. Really am liking it. So then once those are all glued down, you can trim off your excess foil. And really, you could use anything for this. If you wanted to do paint, you could just paint those sections. If you had a good, solid gold paint that looked really good, you could do that. And I mean, you could do it with other metals too, but traditionally that Japanese technique that I'm trying to remember the name of, I don't think I know it well enough to remember it, but it was done with gold. So then you get those all stuck, and then I rounded the corners with my smallest round over. So then the next one, I'm going to use the other factory edge of the paper. So again, I'm going to lay them on there to find exactly where I need to put my line and where I need to put my gold. So those line up. Just adjust this one so that it's sort of equal between the two. And then, I mean, you could trace both sides of the line and just make sure you're painting or covering enough with whatever you're using. But I just did a line like this right up the middle, and then I just made sure I was straddling the line when I put my gold stuff down. So move these over. I even did some joints in the gold foil and it didn't seem to show. I'll do a joint in this one just so you can see, so that you could use up your scraps of it. You've got all small candy wrappers. Because it's all crinkly, you can kind of get away with that. So this one, just make sure it goes all the way to the edge of the page. And then this one can carry on. And that's way farther than it needs to go. And then I'll just put a little bit right under this overlap. And then glue my pieces on. Make sure you're not over the edge if you don't want to have to trim it. And I don't want to have to. Not a big deal if I have to, but I was trying not to. And I just love the way these turned out. I picked papers that had a little bit of gold foiling in them. I'll show you those, my prototype one again. It was just beautiful paper. So there's gold foiling on these little 4-leaf clovers and the dots. And this is paper that I got at Michael's last fall. Fall or winter, I guess. It was after November. Technically winter. And it was $3 a pad on the clearance. So I got a whole bunch of them, so you'll be seeing some of them in projects. tiny bit of trimming to do there, but... And then just follow the card. They're pretty much cardstock, so I can follow the scissors will follow the edge of them. And then that's the piece that's left. It's narrower because it's, I think it's 8.25 by 11.5, I think. Anyway, you end up with the piece about just over 3.5. So you could cut some thinner ones, or you could just overhang them and cut them off after. So that's 2. And the nice thing about these is you have 3 tags that coordinate. They're not identical. There's the same 3 colors, but they're each in a different order. So they're good coordinates for in a journal. So here's the 3rd one. It's really important to have the top and bottom one kind of where you're going to have them glued down. And then this one can just be sort of spaced in between them. Now let's see if I've got enough of the same stuff, because if they are going to coordinate, I want the gold to be the same color. It's just 2 pieces, but I've got a little, it should work. I'm gonna have to stop after this because I'm out of gold, unless I do a different method. I could try it with paint and try it with glitter. If I was gonna do glitter, I'd want to make sure it was embedded in the 3-in-1. You could do that afterwards, I suppose. Fill that gap in. Pretty excited that these are turning out, because I've been percolating this idea for months. And when I was asked to be the artist of the day or the designer of the day, whatever it's called, I thought, oh, I know what I could do. And then unfortunately this morning, well, fortunately, my husband and I got to spend the day together. Unfortunately, he made me work. Do manual labor, shoveling sand, potting trees. It was a good day. So I hope you guys didn't miss me too much. I hope everyone did some of the Whack and Stacks, and I hope now that you will give this a try as well. Maybe you've already come to this conclusion on your own. I don't know. I certainly didn't invent the idea. I just took the idea and adapted it. I don't know if I'm the first one to ever do it with the gold, but I didn't see anyone else do it. I thought of it when I saw a post about broken china. I find it a little easier to do this if I turn it over. And then our rounded corners. And see, these are nice thin tags. They're 2 thicknesses of cardstock. but you can write on the back because I'd used the craft color. That corner must not be as square as the others. And then to do the glue around the edge, which it might drop a little bit, but because it's in the 3-in-1, I think it's going to hold it pretty well. What I did was I brought out a piece of clear packaging. This is something made in Thailand. I don't know what was in it. And what I did was I put down a thin strip of the 3-in-1. Just a little longer than the card. And then I just dipped the edge of the card in it, kind of leaning it towards the front, so I'm getting a little more on the front than the back. And then I dipped it in the glitter. Take the stringies off. And you get a nice fine glittery gold edge. Do the corners while it's still wet, and then I'll have to put some more down. I'll do the other long edge since I put enough out for it. Corners. And just do freshen up my glitter there. And again, if I wasn't filming, I'd probably just be using white glue for this because the 3-in-1 is a bit stinky. It's acetone. But I figured you guys were worth it, getting a little bit dizzy. I'm ready to settle down for the evening anyway. But I just love the way they turn out with the gold on the edge as well. And the golds match up pretty good. See, I missed a spot there. Don't want to miss a spot. I didn't really want to put it right on the card. But that spot just doesn't want to get got. Because really anywhere there's glue, you're going to get glitter. There we go. That's a little bit chunkier now, but so that's how I did those. And I'll show you the paper, the other paper. I don't remember if these were both out of the same book. I think they might have been out of two different books, but this paper's gorgeous. With the teal and the purple and the pink and the gold with the black background. Now the only teal that I could find was embossed with pumpkins. But these are good colors for fall, so that's not a big deal. And then these beautiful green ones good for any time. Kind of a boho feel to them. So I'll get the edges of those done too, but I'm gonna have to cut it off. I've made hubby go out and sit on the porch and watch his YouTube videos so I could do this, so I don't want to be too long. And we're gonna have a nice evening together after a good hard day's work. Not too hard, but we didn't just lay around, you know, we got something accomplished, and that feels good. And so I've been thinking about this all day. So I'm glad that I was able to get it done, and I'll get it up and share it for you this evening. And I'll look up who all was in this event and make sure I tag you so you get a chance to see it. And then I'll share it in the group as well. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've had a good time whacking and stacking today. And I hope you'll do some more. They're fun to do, and you can come up with all sorts of different combinations, like with book page, music paper, and map, coffee dyed paper, all the different types of paper that you might have. Just find 3 that you think look good together and put them together, and use whatever kind of accent you want in the middle. I think the gold worked particularly well with these ones. That's why I picked them out. So I hope you've enjoyed, and like, comment, share, subscribe. But most of all, have a great day and happy crafting.